not a game, it's a rich thing.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Blitz Sports Media. My name is Ryan Lakeland, and I'm back with another off-season breakdown of probably the biggest move we've seen in a few days here. It's been pretty dead in free agency. I've been a little inactive because of it, but we're back because Cam Robinson just signed with the Houston Texans. Probably the most impactful move we've had in a few days. The Texans were looking for a left tackle. They traded Laremy Tunsil, who was one of the best offensive linemen in the NFL. I know Tunsil struggles with penalties. Wasn't the best locker room guy, but the stats don't lie. He's probably the best pass blocking left tackle in the NFL there is. And ultimately, the Texans haven't made very many other moves. They traded away former first-round pick Kenyon Green to the Eagles for another pick. They're starting to load up on these draft picks, but ultimately made zero moves in free agency that suggests that the offensive line is going to be a ton better in 2025 until today, where they added Cam Robinson. Let's take a look at our boy Cam Robinson's profile right here. He's a 29-year-old left tackle, 8-year NFL veteran. His average PFF grade is a 61.2. Now, I will say this. He's had a grade over 60, I think, for 5 straight years, I want to say, and his pass blocking grades have been consistently above 75 for multiple years until last season, where he saw a small decrease in pass blocking grade. He allowed 4 sacks in 2024. He did have 13 penalties in 2024, a sight that Texans fans are very familiar with at the left tackle position, so not ideal there. He had a 95.8% pass block efficiency over his career, which is very, very good. And then obviously the contract for 1 year, $13.5 million. So overall, Cam Robinson's a solid veteran guy. He hasn't been a top end of the market player at the left tackle position, but they're not necessarily paying him that type of money. They need a guy to go fill in. So let's dive right into the tape and see why Cam Robinson can have a significant impact on this Texans offensive line and where his weaknesses might show in Houston. This is where Cam Robinson excels as a pass blocker. It is his bread and butter there. It's not necessarily the run game that he's well known for, as I mentioned before, and this is why. He is a big, big guy at left tackle, and he can take on any sort of bull rush that he faces at this point in his career. He's seen it for 8 years. It's a great example here of the Vikings being able to get a 31-yard gain because Robinson can take on a play on the backside of Sam Darnold, and he doesn't have to worry about that, despite facing a blitz and getting pressure in his face elsewhere. Cam Robinson out here on the left side is able to anchor his base in. He's a big boy, let's just say that. Anchor his base in against Pascal, holding his ground, and that is what he excels at as a pass blocker, and it ultimately leads to a lot of clean blocks and why his pass blocking grades are continually so high year in and year out. You could argue on this play that Cam Robinson gets beat, but what really happens on this play is that Cam Robinson adjusts to a really good jump off the line of scrimmage by the edge rusher and is able to use his physicality and strengths as a pass blocker to ultimately do just enough to make the edge rusher avoid Sam Darnold on this play, which you're going to see on the edge over here is Cam Robinson just get beat off the line of scrimmage. At this point right here, Cam Robinson is cooked. He's around him, but Robinson maintains leverage, gets under the edge rusher's pad level, pushes him to the ground, and then ultimately gives Sam Darnold a lane to step up in the pocket and make a dot down the field. What you guys are going to see right there is just a good jump. Robinson maintains his balance, gets a good strength push, and pushes his guy to the ground, and that's what he makes up for. He's not the fastest and most athletic player in the world, but he is very strong, and he takes on bull rush as well. He's able to make up for a lack of speed by using his physicality with his hands, and ultimately that's why he makes a lot of these edge rushers miss on the quarterback and provide a nice pocket lane for Sam Darnold to go make a play right here. Here's a nice play on the ground where Cam Robinson does a really good job on what Minnesota likes to call, and everybody else, an outside zone play where the offensive line is all stepping to the left and trying to push their defenders out of the way, and Aaron Jones ultimately has to make a cut off of that. What Robinson does well here is he uses his physicality to push through the defender and ultimately clear up a nice hole for Aaron Jones. As you can see, our boy clears up that gap by having a lot of physicality in the ground game. And what's ideal about Cam Robinson, like I keep mentioning, big, physical dog. Just good push right here, good leverage. Just absolutely manhandles the defender. Aaron Jones has a hole that me and your mother could run through and gets a nice gain right there due to Cam Robinson ultimately providing a solid block at left tackle. Now here's a play where Cam Robinson's athleticism is put to the test and ultimately gets beat by a speed rushing move here. And it's kind of where he is at this point in his career, heading into age 30 in his 9th NFL season. He doesn't necessarily have the quickness he once did, which resulted in his lowest pass blocking grade in a few seasons. Here's a play here. We'll roll this through where Robinson just gets beat very quickly on a play action pass, and Sam Darnold ultimately gets sacked because of it. Robinson has poor leverage there and ultimately gets beat. You break it down. Let's go back just a hair. Let's go right to this point right here. Robinson is almost up and out of his stance and not in a great spot. He lost the hand fight at this position. Doesn't give Sam Darnold a chance here and ultimately gets blown by the defender, which is something that we saw a little bit more often in Robinson's tape compared to the past few seasons. Here's another play where Cam Robinson continually struggles with his athleticism at this point in his career. He is more suited for a man inside zone type running scheme with a lot of power and counter involved with it. And well, the outside zone scheme that he had in Minnesota was not ideal for his skill set. As a blocker, he struggles athletically and moving laterally isn't necessarily a strong suit. You're going to see a play here where his athleticism gets him in trouble. Montez Sweat beats him right to the spot, and he just gets caught on a play that, he is the main target point of this run. We're going to go back just a little bit right here. Robinson, at this point, Akers is trying to hit right off of Robinson on the right side of him. Sweat ultimately catches Robinson in bad positioning out on his front feet, catches him very quickly, and Sweat is able to make a play in the backfield. This happened multiple times last season based on the Vikings scheme. Like I said, he's not necessarily an outside zone player. I think a man scheme with Joe Mixon could be better suited for him. So after breaking down the tape with you guys, it's clear that Cam Robinson is very good in terms of handling power rushers and working in an inside running scheme, which bodes well for what they have with Joe Mixon. They're not going to be running as much outside zone. They're going to be running a lot more up the middle and inside zone concepts and man concepts that work very well with Cam Robinson's strengths. Now, his weaknesses, not necessarily the most agile player currently in his age 30 season, struggles with a little bit of speed rush, right? This is not a long-term fix, I don't think, for the Houston Texans. The one-year contract says a lot. This offensive line is going to be addressed during the NFL draft. There's not necessarily many moves they can make in terms of free agency and trades right now. So I think the NFL draft is going to be a major, major thing for the Texans to draft offensive linemen. Two guys I look at in the first round are Josh Simmons from Ohio State and Tyler Booker from Alabama. Personally, I think Simmons is a great player and should be a little bit higher on boards than a lot of people think. So I think the Texans should go him, but it looks like Booker is probably going to be their play. We will see. It's ultimately going to be interesting to see how the Texans play this out. Their offensive line isn't necessarily in the best spot heading into 2025. It's not ideal with CJ Stroud heading into year 3. What do you guys think? Are the Texans in a better spot or worse spot now than they were in 2024 with Tunsil at left tackle or this current offensive line with Cam Robinson at left tackle? It's very interesting. We'll see how it plays out. If you guys are interested in another breakdown, I broke down why Joe Milton could potentially be a quarterback one in this league that dropped today as well. Make sure you guys go check that out. That'll be above right now. And then if you want to watch more Blitz Sports Media content, I'll throw those at the end. Hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you guys next time.